Hello and welcome to the Blowout podcast. I am your host, Ty Schwartzlow, here for our very first video edition here live in studio with Brett Schmit, player manager of the Winona Chiefs. Brett, thanks so much for stopping in and taking a few minutes to talk.
Thanks for having me.
Brett, the one thing I'm very curious about, and I think we should start this conversation, is certainly with baseball. I'm curious to know your life in baseball and how that led you to become a part of the Winona Chiefs.
Well, I've been around baseball my entire life. Started, basically about a year old, I started watching my brother who actually played for the Chiefs.
Okay.
So I was around the baseball field all the time, watching my dad play softball. I was always around the field, and there was something about it. I don't know. I was like addicted to it. But
To the game of baseball or the Chiefs specifically?
Baseball.
Okay. And talk to me about that first appearance with the Chiefs. What did that mean to you? You've seen your brother grow up from the age of a young age.
Yeah.
I imagine some special significance.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, especially being young, you look at the Chiefs almost as like a major league team. That's just the way it was. So getting to play for them and getting to play for Schmit, who is, a baseball legend around here, was awesome.
For those who may not be familiar with him, tell me a little bit about what he's done for this community in baseball.
I mean, he's developed the Chiefs organization to where they're at and who they are today.
Where would they be without him?
I don't know if there would be.
Wow.
A Chiefs.
So you're playing for a few years. At what point do you realize that maybe you could have a greater impact, a greater involvement with the Winona Chiefs to the point of course, becoming the player manager?
Well, I mean, it wasn't something, I guess, that I sought out. It was more, Ryan Buehler, who was coaching before, wanted to kind of step down from coaching at least. And, it just happened to be there, and he asked me if I wanted to do it, and I'm like, sure. I mean, I figure I'm still playing, and why not give it a shot? And it's nice to be around some of the young guys too, and watch them grow, and just see them and their love for the game is pretty cool.
What's your biggest challenge as a manager in the early season? You've got some young players maybe used to playing with the metal bats. There's that whole notion. You got a guy like Hunter Cruz who's actually leaving the team to go play in the Arizona Wood Bat Fall League, and you might be able to get him back. What's your biggest challenge, at least in this early season as a manager, trying to fit all the pieces together?
There's quite a few challenges. One is just figuring out who's all going to play and how committed they are going to be. And I think we do have...
We'll edit that out, no worries, man. If you need to pick it up, that's fine too.
No, I'm going to have to throw it on vibrate here.
Work and personal?
Yeah.
Hey man, whatever works. I've got one.
Yeah, it can be a little much at times.
I suppose, but what were the biggest challenge as a manager? Talk to me specifically about the young guys. What do you tell them in terms of the approach? Because you can, well, like we just talked about, it really is like a major league team to some extent if you've grown up watching. What do you say to the younger guys to keep it all in perspective and make sure that from more, it's a terrible way to put it, or I'm not putting it the best way, but just go out there, play their game, and do what they know they can do and play the same game they've played their whole lives? How do you get them to play within themselves?
Confidence is a huge part of baseball, and I guess just really fine-tuning your swing is huge when it comes to wood bat, because there's little room for error. So just getting adjusted to that, and another thing is wood bats are weighted different. And that definitely affects your swing. And I just think a lot of that can be, I guess, taken care of by practice. I mean, taking BP, and not necessarily just when Chiefs have BP, but on your own and that type of thing. I know when I was first started playing for the Chiefs, I was on my own taking BP whenever I could with the wood, just because it was a lot different.
Is there a point where you see, because I mean, you don't know until you see a player out there play, and certainly you can see a player play at the high school level, but there is something different about Twin Rivers League baseball. Take Hunter Cruz, for example. When did you know he belonged, he was going to be just fine at this level?
Well, I mean, it helps that he came from a junior college in Iowa. And, I mean, so right there proves to me, okay, you know, he's got to have some talent, something to work with. And I guess just after the first couple games, and it wasn't necessarily, you know, I guess his numbers, it was how he played the game.
The approach?
The approach to the game was really refreshing to see as a young kid. I mean, he's always 100% hustling, running everything out. You know, he gets down on himself, but for example, if he's up at the plate and he strikes out, he doesn't take that into the field with him. I mean, I've seen it multiple times where he has a bad at bat and he comes out in the field and it just happens to be the first ball hit, it's right at him, and he makes a play. So he doesn't carry it out for the entire game, which can happen.
Talk to me about his involvement in the Arizona Wood Bat League. When did you first become aware of it, and what are your overall thoughts on having one of your players go there and obviously be able to come back potentially?
Yeah, I knew it at the beginning of the season. He's actually playing in a Wood Bat League that is ran by Travis Akery, who is a Winona guy, born and raised in Winona. And he's also the Ellsworth baseball coach, head coach. And, I mean, it sucks losing him, but it's going to be good for him. He's going to be playing with some really good talent. And, you know, it's an experience. You only live once, and at a young age to be able to go down there and play ball is, I'm happy for him. But it will be nice come August, playoff time, to get him back for sure. And
I can only imagine that playing and seeing the different pitchers, being exposed to the very many different things that you can in the game of baseball certainly would help him. You would, I imagine, hope. But I want to move now into last night's game against the Tri-County Tremor. Looking at the record, to be honest, you know, you guys at the top of the standings, them have struggled a little bit, but that was not the case last night. There were one or two bullpen pitchers who maybe taking you to extra innings. What does that say about the depth of this league? That's the youngest team in the Twin Rivers Conference. They played you very tough at home.
They did. You know, I knew at the beginning of the season and before this game that they were going to be better. They have some guys that are getting a little bit older, so they have a little bit more experience with the wood bat. And they actually surprised me. I mean, they've swung the bat pretty well. And their pitcher was pretty good. I mean, he was mixing up off speed, keeping batters off balance.
And it seems like their biggest challenge to this point has been their depth in pitching, and you certainly know a little bit about that with injured Jesse Van Brunt as well as the Myers injury. However, had to pitch again last night.
Yeah.
Talk to me, where are you at with those injuries, and what is your approach moving forward?
It's day to day. I mean, you know, they're two of, well, on the older end of our team. And, you know, I guess I talked to them before the game, a couple days before the game, see how their arms are feeling. I don't think it's anything major. I think it's just tired, fatigue, and maybe some strain. But I don't see it lasting the entire season. So, and the way I look at it is better rest now than at the end of the year. It'll help towards the end of the year, these guys being rested.
All right, what is your favorite, most memorable, best moment with the Chiefs from you personally?
Man, well, my first year playing for the Chiefs under Al, we were still in the Wisconsin League, and we took second state in the Wisconsin League. That was a lot of fun, a lot of people. It was a huge learning experience for me, being, I was 19 years old at the time, and just being around. I mean, it was a total baseball atmosphere, and everyone was there for the same reason, and it was a lot of fun.
The notion of postseason baseball was the high school, pro level, amateur baseball. It really is unlike anything else, am I right?
Yeah. I mean, that's what you play the whole season for.
And what, now as we move to this season for the Chiefs, what is going to make this season successful? Come state tournament time, are you looking to accomplish something there, or is it maybe as simple as let's have fun and get everybody a little bit better?
Yeah, I mean, both. I think there's a goal to go to state. I mean, every year that's our goal, make it through playoffs and get a chance to play at the state tournament. Yeah, I mean, state tournament's huge. You get to play in front of a lot of people, and it's been a while since we've made a decent run at state. So.
All right, I've got one final question about the Twins, but before we get into that, any final thoughts on the Chiefs moving forward, maybe a little bit what we can expect about Plainview tomorrow night? I realize some people, as you may be watching this, the game against Plainview may have already been played, but nonetheless, we want some preparation for the broadcast as well. What are you expecting from Plainview?
I'm expecting them to be scrappy. I don't think they're not a team that's gonna wow you, but they're a team that can take advantage of you underestimating them.
And isn't that, as a manager, I got to imagine one of your main focal points is let's treat every team the same, because as I said, this is a deep league and you can't look at the standings or it's certainly going to hurt you in the long run.
Yeah, it will. It will. Yeah, every team has the capability to beat you on a given day. So, yeah, I mean, you got to have the same approach every game, because when you let up, they're going to sneak their way right back into it, and it's going to hurt.
Well, we were talking before we turned the cameras on a little bit about Minnesota Twins baseball, and you were talking to me about the last few years. Not the greatest. I don't mean to be terrible as a Brewers fan. I don't mean to be insulting or anything like that, but you've got a phenomenal farm system. How much stock do you put in that, and how much hope does that give you towards the future when you talk about a Buxton, Miguel Sano, even the recent draft pick, Nick Gordon? How much do you pay attention to those prospects?
I mean, I guess personally, I don't get too in depth with it, but I mean, Twins have always had a great farm system, one of the best in the league, if not the best. And I just, it's one of those things where you want to see those guys succeed as a Twins player for their whole career. You don't want to see them, with the Twins for 2 years and then all of a sudden getting shipped somewhere else. For
Carlos Gomez situation.
Yep, David Ortiz.
I guess we're going to add one more question. This was supposed to be the last one. Would you be in favor of a salary cap in baseball?
I don't think it would be a bad idea. I don't know how. I haven't, again, put really any thought into it, but yeah, I mean, it's going to give other teams a chance to compete, getting some of these, franchise players. So.
All right, and I'll give you one final. We're going to end it on a Chiefs note. We don't want to end it with the Twins farm system. That'd be a ridiculous way to end it. But for those who may not have been down to Gabrych Park, what would you say to someone who is considering it maybe a Wednesday night, got nothing going? What are they missing if they don't go down to the ballpark to see the Winona Chiefs play?
Baseball atmosphere. A park that's been around for, I don't even know when it was built, but there's photos, like I want to say back in the 40s with grandstands.
I've seen, those are ridiculous.
So, I mean, it's just a great atmosphere. You can bring, I mean, if it's a day game or something like that, you can bring grill, and there's a bunch of places for people to sit and have a good time.
Oh, the fan support, having been down there for a few games and broadcast a couple, You're going to find bigger crowds at baseball arenas, but I would be hard-pressed if you're going to find a more fun-loving atmosphere just in terms of the game of baseball. It's a lot of fun to be at, and I would highly encourage you, even if you watch the Extra Point broadcast here with Justin Barrientos and myself, go down to the park and see these guys play in person. It's a lot of fun, but thank you, Brett, for joining me. I appreciate it so much, and any final thoughts or any final sign-off before we hit the road?
Not much, just get down there, Gabrych Park, Wednesday. And actually this Friday, so we'll see you there.
All right, this should be up on hopefully YouTube, possibly even iTunes by tomorrow. So if you're seeing this and it is Friday, hey, head on to Gabrych Field, Plainview, Elgin Millville, a great game and a very, very streaking Chiefs team, excuse me, as we bear through the ending here. But for Brett Schmit, I'm Ty Schwartzlow, and everyone here at HBC, this has been the Blowout Podcast. Thank you, and we'll see you next time.